Hello and welcome back to my Strictly Fun channel. Today we will paint and finish up this monster. It will not be an easy job, as you will see for your own eyes. And everything because of me having fun with new techniques and, just experimenting a bit while wishing not to blow up the whole project, right? As you can imagine, there is much to be done, so let's start without further delaying. Before I started my paint job, I have put a black primer on the whole surface. Some modelers tend not to do it. I never miss this stage and I can tell you why. First, primer will protect and unify the model surface and all artificial effects you have used to enrich the surface. 2. You will have a unified image of the model, which will help you greatly while looking for directions where and how to paint. 3. Primer brings additional bond for parts which might not be so important when you use only plastic parts, but when you use PE, it is a totally different story. It helps a lot, believe me. 4. Finally, black or dark brown primer gives this beautiful dark deep contrast for our basic colors. For a good start, I have chosen a khaki color from Mr. Color. As you see, I work with an airbrush to reach this mottled effect. I try to leave corners and recesses not fully painted to build the shadow effect. I also decided to highlight khaki color with buff. I went for 2 highlight stages. I was putting each layer in smaller quantities to reach the color transition effect in desired places. As I want to build this unit for 1945 in occupied Berlin, so pattern B looks just perfect to me. This white stripe will look just awesome on this bruised hull. At first I wanted to use dedicated decals, but uh, well, no, I will paint it by myself. And I can honestly tell you that it was a great decision. With use of mottled effect, I could easily unify this white stripe with the rest of used colors. And now, the best part. You see what I mean? I'm sure it is an easier and just better way to reach such effect. At the same time, I haven't decided to resign from the rest of decals. It would be much more complex to copy those effects. I will only have to take care of good layering of those decals on rough hull surface. There will be also a lot of blending to unify those white colors, but we will deal with this later. Looks good and fits like a glove. I will use some varnish now to blend those decal corners with the rest of the surface of the model. Okay, I have to admit that this khaki color ended up a little bit different than I had in my imagination at the beginning. It is just a little bit too brown and not too much green. Let's put some oil filtering to solve this issue. It looks just like oil dotting technique I was using before, but this time I mostly use olive, yellow and white colors to reach out this khaki greeny color. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. And honestly, before the choice of this technique, I thought I will have to repaint the whole model. And here, oils saved the day. Let's now have fun with chipping and get to this point. For this technique you really need a good quality paintbrush. And it is not always about its size, but always about quality. You don't have to use triple O brush. Number 1 will definitely suffice. Okay, so chipping on the hole is finished. Let's now go to those horizontal surfaces.
You know who made it.
My good friend Bartek gave me once some advice to use an airbrush flow improver to dilute the acrylic paint for better control, and you know what? It works just like magic. Thanks, Bart. Now, paint is smoother, easier to control and does not clog the brush so often while long chipping sessions. Long sessions, you say? Just look for yourself how long it takes, even when I will speed it up 8 times. Well, I was so into this new way of painting chips that I just got carried away a bit, but no regrets. I could at least practice chipping, which is a pretty difficult technique after all. Besides, those scratches will be mostly toned down with future weathering effects, so let's not panic.
You know who made it.
I would love to tell you that I knew what I was doing at this stage, but honestly I wasn't. And was just pushing forward, hoping for the best.
You know who made it.
At this stage I was concentrating on adding the browny, rusty filters to the surface. It will definitely blend and tone down those enormous metallic chips I've made during my chipping madness. My main goal in here was not to make rust streaks or residues, it was more about aging the surface and breaking the green base color. And now ISU is perfectly dirty and worn down. Or maybe not. One more? Huh? It is a perfect time now to build some dirt effects on the suspension and below fenders. Acrylic pastes for dioramas are perfect in here. They are easy to distribute on surface and can be diluted with water. Do you remember when I was telling about dirt, dust and bricks? Well, I wasn't joking. For this purpose I used some crushed plaster. It will be a perfect representation of rubble. I bind the plaster with the surface with use of VMS sanded ballast grease. For a better final distribution you can easily help yourself with a brush. Okay, ISU 152 have visited the shop with rubble and bricks, and now it's ready for another risky technique. Well, I need to base paint those rubble and brick residues, and I also need to start dusting the surface. And the urban warfare dust is different from this found in terrain. It is more gray and more in the scope of black and white color areas with sand residues. Looks risky, right? Well, let's push forward. Now I need to blend this gray paint with the surface colors to achieve this even dusty coverage. I will use gray wash for this purpose. At this stage my ISU looked pretty sad. So dusty with no expressive colors. But it is time to bring some sunshine and color variety with use of acrylic paints and paintbrush. After all, we have some nice bricks to be painted. I was waiting for this moment for a long time. Oh boy, let's see if choosing those bricks as an element of coloring variety was a good idea. Those brick colors after painting also need to be blended, but this time with an use of pigments. Pigments will build also some volume in recesses between bricks. I use enamel thinner to bind the pigment with the surface. It will be a loose bind though. I want to be able to feather the pigment surface, which will blend dust with other effects. And now washing time. I mean time for washes, of course. I place diluted wash in desired spots and just after the short moment I blend it with use of straight enamel thinner. Enamel thinner melts and mixes colors from the wash with those from light pigment placed just before. This is the reason why I didn't use pigment fixer for binding the pigment in previous step. Fixer ties pigment tighter to the surface, lowering its blending properties. Okay, we are nearly there. I have pulled up some of those colors and now model looks much more vivid and three-dimensional. There are still some more elements which will help me to build bigger color diversity. As you see, I had only one ammunition box, but I needed a pile of 8 to make it look somehow serious. This is why I cut to size few pieces of foam left from my first diorama attempts and glued them to the back of my ISU with use of PVA glue. Those artificial ammo boxes can't be left just like this, of course. And this is the perfect opportunity to make another tarp! Yay! My little tip for you and, well, myself, of course. Don't color the tarp before placing it on the surface, or at least make it dry enough before placing. I didn't and made a terrible mess on those small details around. I repaired it, of course, but I could easily avoid this problem. Now I will know, and so do you. I had some spare grenades, so I put those in a wooden box just to have them at hand for infantry or tank crew. The back part of my ISU was now well detailed, the top of the hull as well, but front looked rather boring to me. I needed some details with a different color to make some contrast for catching the eye. I have made some window frame and shutter broken elements to place them in front part of the hull. Broken wooden bars will not only make sense in here, but also will build nice color and shape variety. Chains will perfectly fit to those chunky grooved hull sides.
You know who made it.
And you thought that one big gun is enough? Definitely not. Our ISU tank crew is smart and has an anti-tank rifle covering the back of the vehicle. Just look at the size of this barrel and shells which I have placed on the top of wooden box cover.
You know who made it.
I just love those small details. I have made this bucket out of PE set. Cute, isn't it? And yet another nesty gun. So here we are. This is the end of this amazing adventure shared with my ISU 152. And now a few words about my impressions. Well, it was a real playground for me and I've learned a lot from this project. My main goal was to practice new techniques and while doing that, maybe not to ruin the model in front of your eyes. Again, and as always, for me building a model is a perfect opportunity to tell a story. And I really like to tell stories. This time I wanted to take you to Berlin in 1945, where Soviet troops are fighting their way through Nazi urban fortifications. My ISU 152 is supporting infantry on those tight streets of Berlin. And ISU with its huge barrel is able to turn into ruins just everything what stands on its way. In the end, I just love the final look of my ISU 152, the Beast Killer. Even with this dusty urban cover, colors stayed vivid and details are well visible all over the vehicle. And now it is just lacking one thing, the diorama. Yeah, I'm experimenting with dioramas lately and maybe some future episode will be about diorama build. We will see. But for now, thank you for staying with me to the end of this video. I hope it was fun for you. Please remember to click thumbs up if you liked your stay and to subscribe to the channel not to miss another crazy modeling trip. Until then, keep modeling, have fun and see you next time. And if by any chance Anthony is watching, all the best to you, Anthony. Ciao!